The portal newcomers for the first time on the field, how often have you been really pleasantly surprised with their development, where they're at, versus sometimes are there players where you look at them and you say, okay, we've got some work to do with this guy, stop maybe what we saw on film. Is there a balance between the two? Do you see both sides of it?
Well, I mean, so there's a maturity. Usually, it's a little bit different, just because they're older and they've whether they've been scarred up or they've played a lot and they've grown, they've matured. So their mindset a lot of times is different than maybe a freshman. So that can be an advantage, but you got to still at the same time find guys that are team guys, and so we really feel good about the group of guys that we brought in from team-centered leaders, where they're coming from, and then having the maturity to know how to go and compete every day, and that they believe inherently that you're going to get what you earn. And so those are the biggest things. But again, what you love about a young player is that you have all this opportunity to develop them, and guys that are going to be there for 3, 4, 5 years. By that 4th and that 5th year, by the time that comes around, these are guys that can play at a really, really high level consistently for you. So, the negative of the portal is the guys are in and out, and so can be constant turnover, and that, at the end of the day, that's not what you ideally want. You want continuity and stability on your roster. That's a good thing. Even if it's a little lesser talent, you get a guy for 3, 4, 5 years. Those 5th-year guys, man, they can play at a really high level, and they understand what winning football looks like, and they certainly understand inherently and deeply how you do what you do.
Yeah, Brent, you talk about developing the defense, long-term development with 3rd, 4th, 5th-year players. But does the portal give you a chance to make year-to-year big jumps with a unit? In other words, Bothroyd, Lacey, McCullough, Ford, whoever I'm leaving out. Does just the presence of a portal and the immediate eligibility give you an opportunity to take major steps in one single offseason?
I think it gives you that chance, no doubt. The things that they're bringing to the table, whether it's improved skill, the experience, having guys, you can't. It's hard to just manufacture experience. So within your roster, sometimes you have more of it returning than other times. This is an opportunity to bring the experience, and then the biggest thing to me, the biggest challenge is finding the right people. And it's not like you have a bunch of day one NFL draft picks that are available in the portal every year. And if there are, they don't last long, and you always got to kind of question why would they? What's the story? There's always a backdrop to it. So, I think that the key is being able to find guys that are good enough, that meet your needs. Hey, and sometimes look, we got to find some bodies that can come play, that can execute. Because of, again, you might have lost a bunch of guys at one position. We lost a bunch of guys up front, so we had to bring in a bunch of guys, both high school and portal. But it does let you bridge a gap quickly, but you got to find the right guys that are team guys that learn well, guys that are going to come and compete every day, guys that are available. They're healthy too. We took a chance on a few guys that we felt like that were worth it, that were going to come in a little bit, overcoming some injuries from a previous year, and so we're hopeful that'll pay off as well. But you can definitely get better quickly with experience and maybe again improved players at particular positions. No doubt. But there's still a learning curve, and there's still guys having the willingness to come in and compete and handle adversity. And if they're not the first guy, first few days, the first few weeks, the first few games, how are they going to respond? Are they still going to be good team guys and judge a player, in moments of adversity and strain, not when things are going great. And so we'll have a chance to see that during the course of the spring, and then certainly that'll all play itself out during the course of the year. But really excited about those guys on defense, and Reggie Pearson was another. I think you hit on about everybody else. And again, what we've seen, how these guys, their mindset every day and their humility, and again, the way they come and compete, that's been fun to see, whether it's Lacey or Bothroyd or Devin, Reggie, Desan, those guys all have showed up with a hunger, like they got something to prove, and they got a lot that they have to continue to improve at. You know, a guy like Desan, he had shoulder surgery a year ago and coming out of high school, and so he didn't have a year of all this physical development, which he needs. His frame needs that. He's got a really good frame, but he's got you know, a lot of filling in still to do, which he will do over the course of time. And he's made some great gains already, but these guys, none of them are finished products. Some of them have played a little bit more, like a Bothroyd, than others, but Pearson's played quite a bit. And but we brought these guys in to make us better. And whether hopefully that's a starting position, if they're good enough to earn it, great. If not, that means that we're getting the best version of guys on our roster. And some guys that we took, some of that played into it too. Hey, let's bring in some competition here. That usually brings out the best in everyone.
George Goya?
Hey, Brent, kind of going off that transfer portal stuff, over the last year, has your opinion or perspective on going into the portal changed when you see teams like TCU compete for a national title after going with all those roster turnover? And secondly, do you feel like you were more prepared this year to go into the portal than maybe last year?
Yeah, and I don't know what all TCU's. I know on offense they didn't have a ton of a turnover. I know they had a lot of returners, especially up front, a veteran offensive line and a quarterback that was a Heisman finalist that was not in the portal, and they did a great job, a really, really good job. But you have the same philosophy, you know. Again, address your roster how it needs to be addressed. You have to be prepared to respond if you do lose a lot of guys. As I said, you know, we gave guys 12 months of grace. You know, when we got here 14 months ago, we had almost half the roster. We had a lot of work to do. There were some things. I know we had won some games, but you know, there's a lot of issues off the field that we had to fix, and a lot. And over the course of two teams, change and turnover after the first after the Oregon game, and then certainly giving guys an opportunity to figure out if they wanted to live up to the standards and the expectations of our program, help guys that maybe needed to find a better opportunity to go play, and again try to give guys the help that they need at some point in time. You've got to be willing to make some good tough decisions. It's the last year that we're able to sign more than the 25 initial scholarship, and so we wanted to take advantage of that, and so that's how we got to 37. And so that is not going to be the norm, but that's always going to be an opportunity for us to gain some experience and some playmaking, where we see fit. When you have guys leave early for the NFL or graduation, or again, if you have somebody that you didn't expect, a returning starter, pick up and leave, you have to be ready to respond. And hopefully you're recruiting and developing the right guys right here in your own locker room. To me, that's the most important portal that we have, is creating an environment where guys they're treated the right way, they're shown value, they're developed in every part of their life, on and off the field. In their journey, they know they show up here every day, that they matter. And I think that's important for us. So I want to still make it very relational, and even in the days of the portal, and as opposed to transactional, and still recruit guys even within the portal that are looking for that. And maybe they're leaving a transactional place and they're looking for somewhere where it's about a lot more than just the ball.
For more information, you can visit TulsaWorld.com.